The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN, 9:06 a.m. Wednesday morning. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading. We got a mixed market out there right now. We got some earnings seasons, stocks accelerating. We got Netflix. Talk about a little volatility last night. We'll get into Netflix in a moment, but right now you have Netflix shares after spiking to a low of 496 last night, within only about 1% lower of where we were. Actually made it to positive territory at one point. Quite a recoil from lower numbers, but back to the market. You got the S&P up by about 7 points right now pre-market. We were about 15 points above where we're at now, about 4 a.m. You see the volatility in the overnight session, but positive territory coming into the opening bell. NASDAQ 100, negative by about 30 points this morning, 14,692. You get the Dow catching a bid. We're up 140 points, 34,543, and the Russell is up about 0.7%, back above 2,200 at 2208. Crude catching a bid. Quite the low we had yesterday in crude, 65.01. Just like that, we're heading to higher prices yet again in the crude market. We're up $1.19 at 68.40. You jump over to gold. Gold contract down $12. We're trading at 17.98. We were up to 18.25 yesterday. We'll be chatting with our man Teddy Kegstad at 40 past the hour, folks, as we do every Wednesday from forex-trading-unlock.com. Of course, the Forex market always influencing commodity market in a big way. We'll see what Teddy has to say later in the program. And we jump to notes and bonds. We got the 10-year right now pulling back a bit. You got the 10-year negative by 10 ticks, 134.11. We're looking at a yield right now in the 10-year back to 1.257%. We'll call it 1.25% for a round number, but just above that level, we had yields approaching 1.2%. I think we might have got a 1.19 handle at the highs of yesterday. I mean, look at this move in the 10-year. You're talking about a full point in both directions, and it's just Wednesday morning, folks, just this week. Think about that. A full point in both directions this week, and it's Wednesday morning at 9:08 a.m. Eastern Time. Lots of action. We put the 10-year on a daily. You see the move we had. You've recoiled a bit. You got into that entire gap that we had back from February. You put it on a 3-year weekly for some context here. Been talking about this in the program, talking about it to some of my subscribers. You take a look at the 10-year. You accelerate back from 2018 up to the highs of COVID, March of 2020. You spiked to 140.24. We've pulled back and chopped around at the 382 for a period dating back to basically since March when you got down in this area. That area of support correlating to the area of resistance, as in that's where we had a little bit of resistance back in September 2019, accelerated through that area as COVID hit. We spike, we pull back. We've caught a bounce at the 382, a little bit of a pullback. Now back to just a 15-minute, quite the run when you back it up to a week ago, right? You're talking about from a 132 handle to a 135 handle. Not the type of action you normally see in the 10-year, but not the type of action the market normally sees, period. VIX right now, what are we doing? Negative 72. We're trading at 19, still an elevated level of volatility premium, but interesting that we're sitting at 19 at a time when the S&Ps are pushing right near all-time highs. I mean, you take a look, 43.84, the all-time highs. We're trading at 43.24, 60 points in the S&Ps. Boy, the volatility that we're having, that is a one-day move, 60 points in the S&P. We'll see where it shakes out. Okay, jumping to Netflix. So Netflix out with their numbers last night. We're trading at 425. You made it down to 496 on this chart. Netflix been really just chopping around for a while. Excuse me. Now you back this up really a full year. The bar on a weekly basis from July 6th, you have Netflix break above 500 for the first time ever, July 6th. Been chopping around between about 500 and the high part of 500, made it to 593. Now you look at the 15, let's put it on the minute to see the action. Quite a plunge lower. We'll zoom it in on the earnings last night. Let's just zoom it in right there. Quite the plunge lower. All right, now what's interesting here is that is not just a one-print low of 496. I was watching the program. They came out right after my dad's show at 4 o'clock last night. He was talking about it between the 4 and the 4:03 p.m. update as they were breaking those numbers out right at 4 o'clock. And it was a pretty quick slide back to flat territory, as in you made it back to almost being positive by 4:14 in the afternoon yesterday. But you can see we were trading at 496 for a couple minutes. We were trading in the 500 to 505 ballpark for a few minutes. We were trading between 510 and 515 for about 5 minutes, and then the market inched up higher in terms of basically, and we've given it back. I mean, the slide basically is like 5 a.m. I think we started ticking the negative prices. You're going to see some volatility on Netflix on the open, because this thing can't figure out quite yet where it wants to go, and that is a very volatile move. And they got some very volatile numbers. So let's get into the numbers here. Beats on paid subscriber growth, but misses earnings expectation is the headline. So earnings per share, they come in at $297 versus $316. Revenue, they beat by 0.2 billion. Global paid net subscriber additions, 1.54 million versus 1.19. Here's what to keep in mind, all right? They beat on paid subscriber growth, which is only saying that they added 1.19 or more million subscribers for the quarter. They had very, very low expectations is what I'm trying to say here, folks. That is a very low number in a big way, I think they added that combines for the first 2 quarters of the year, you got Q1 at 3.9. You got Q2. Yeah, I believe that's the 1.5 that they just added. So you're talking about they add almost 5.6. What is that? Yeah, 4.9, 5.4 million subscribers for the quarter. Folks, to compare it to that same quarter from a year back, 26 million subscribers. So they had 26 million subscribers. So year on year, for the first half of the year-on-year comparison, you go from 26 million, you go to 6 million. Now, I've been saying, rightfully so, that you can't compare things to a year ago, but it is an illustration. Remember, everybody was saying, well, geez, is this going to be pulling that growth forward, right? Are they adding 26 million subscribers right now, but the market can't get too excited because they were going to add those subscribers over the next year or two, and now they're really going to suffer growth-wise over the next year or two because they pulled all those growth subscribers forward. That was the conversation at the time. From yesterday's numbers and the prior quarter's numbers, that seems to be the conversation that is taking place yet again. Now, what's interesting here is the management team seems completely talking about that they are just going to continue to grow in the way that they've been talking about. If we achieve our forecast, now this is who's talking here? Is this the CEO? We will have added more than 54 million paid net ads over the past 24 months, or 27 million on an annualized basis over that time period, the company said. All that's doing is that's talking about that they've added a lot of people, and we know they have because they added 26 million subscribers over the first half of last year. When they get into gaming here, what they were talking about, they are going to be in the next 12 months offering a service. It's going to be included in there. I'm trying to find where it is in there, but it's going to be included as part of the general Netflix plan in there. They're going to focus on mobile. They're going to have their own products, and they're going to license some products. But nonetheless, Netflix down about $5. This thing had a $30 move priced in. So some volatility there, and it looks that it's going to settle pretty much close to flat, at least on the open. We'll see how it trades. Stay tuned, folks. We got the S&P up by 9. We'll be right back.
Golden ratios give shape to everything in our world, represented in the Fibonacci sequence. These special numbers define the patterns that make up our universe. Not even markets can escape the omnipotence of these ratios. Larry Pesavento is a 45-year market veteran who has published nearly a dozen books on the powerful patterns we find in nature and the relationships with the ever-elusive markets. Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, will teach you to harness the power of these natural golden ratios in order to create successful trades. Fibonacci 24/7 is designed to teach the tools you need to identify and act on these undeniable and reoccurring patterns. Sign up for Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, and you will also receive free access to his trading webinar, Trading Strong Trending Markets. Try out Larry's newsletter risk-free. All of TFNN's newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Had myself muted there. Shame on me. Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps up by 11 points right now. NASDAQ 100 negative by 25. The Dow catching a bid. You're up 0.5%. You're up 175 points, trading at 34,574. And the Russell up by about 0.7% right now as well. Jumping around to some of the stocks that we have moving this morning in terms of earnings. We got Netflix kicking things off. Netflix right now negative by about $5 coming into the opening bell. You had Coca-Cola out with their numbers as well. Coke trading higher by about $1.30. Saw Verizon had some good numbers out there as well. Verizon trading up a full $1. That's a decent move for a company like Verizon. Not as volatile, especially compared to a company like Netflix or something like that. Verizon trading up $1 on their numbers with increased, I believe I saw increased subscribers and an raised outlook, which is always what you want to see in terms of earnings. All right, let's jump into some of those numbers in terms of the stocks that are making moves. So we talked about Netflix, Coca-Cola, quarterly revenue topping 2019 levels. That's the comparison I like to see, folks. You don't want to see year over year. Tell me how it compares to 2019, a much more comparable year. Beat the expectations, getting into the numbers, 68 cents a share versus 56 expected. Quite a beat on revenue for Coke. Always staggering the type of beats you can have when you put it in real terms, in terms of dollars, in 90 days. In 90 days, they're supposed to take in $9.32 billion. Sometimes the decimal places get lost. They take in $10.13 billion. Folks, that's taking in an extra $800 million on a period of 90 days in revenue. Quite the beat indeed. 68 cents a share they take in over 56. Net sales rose 42% to $10.13 billion. Excuse me, quite a number when you look at it. Now, unit case volume, so that's going to strip out the impact of currencies and price changes. They're telling you how many units they're selling. Flat compared to 2019 levels. Interesting when you look at that, right? India, one of the markets that's still under pressure due to a health crisis, not surprising. All of its drink segments reported double-digit volume growth for the quarter. And the company's sparkling soft drinks unit, which includes its namesake soda, saw volume increase by 14% in the quarter. The nutrition, juice, dairy, and plant-based beverage business grew 25%. Some strong numbers in there. For the full year, Coke now expects to deliver organic revenue growth of 12 to 14%, up from its prior outlook. You always like to see raised outlooks. Raising the forecast for adjusted earnings per share growth to 13 to 15%, up from a prior high single digits to low double digits estimation. So we get into Coke, their numbers. There's your pop. Good numbers. From 55.83 yesterday, we're up about $1.30 on their numbers, trading at 57.15. Now, Verizon, as I mentioned, don't have an article up for them, but Verizon, and my mom worked for Verizon, retired. She's got some Verizon shares out there for sure, so always rooting for them, but they're a strong company. Beating estimates by 7 cents a share was the number there with about $1.37. They reported better than expected revenue and subscriber growth. There you go, and raised the full year outlook for Verizon. What else we have? Harley-Davidson out with their numbers. Quarterly earnings at $1.33. They beat, although revenue was short of analyst projections. Not what you want to see. Bottom line benefited from sales of more high-margin products like touring and cruiser bikes. The market actually likes that. Now, I worry about that, folks. Yeah, there you go. You can like short-term profits. There's no problem with that. If they're gonna navigate themselves out, as in work themselves out in the long run, you got to grow revenue, folks. You got to beat on revenue, and when you miss on revenue and you make money on earnings, all that means is that you're usually cutting costs. Usually, now they're selling the higher margin items, okay. But the market telling you just what I said. You trade up to 45.90 real quick from 43.80. You trade up more than $2, and just like that, we basically give it all back. We're trading at 44, and the conference call is just beginning on Harley-Davidson. I mean, they might be okay, but that's not that strong of a number when you miss on the revenue front for Harley-Davidson. We talked about Netflix. Chipotle out with their numbers as well. That was the other big one out in terms of earnings. Second quarter earnings and revenue topped Wall Street estimates, forecasting same-store sales growth in low to middle double digits during the third quarter. I mean, low to middle double digits. That's quite a staggering number. Digital sales jumping more than 10%, making up 48.5% of the company's quarterly sales. I mean, did you see that, folks? Digital sales make up almost 1 out of every $2 of quarterly sales for this company. Whew. Congrats to the team over there, seriously, because that is quite an achievement, and they're being rewarded today with Chipotle jumping from $15.80 to $16.53. It is remarkable when you think how that happens in terms of a digital transformation like that for a company that size. You get into the numbers, 746 versus 652. They take in the revenue that they were looking for with $1.89 billion. Net income $188 million or $6.60 a share. And yeah, they barely survived with the profit last year, $8.2 million. Excluding restaurant asset impairments, closure costs, other items, that's where you get the 746. Net sales rose, they're talking about same-store sales from a year ago, 31.2%, just staggering numbers, of course. But some of the other numbers you get into here, so this is where, they've transformed their company in a great way, it looks like. Digital-only quesadillas they had launched. I haven't ordered these yet. I do love quesadillas. They can get a little unhealthy at times. Chipotle, very healthy, some of their ingredients. But, man, you start piling on the ingredients, folks, and it adds up to quite a meal in terms of calories. But they got a lot of digital offerings, and quesadillas they only offer. You can't walk into a store and get a quesadilla. You got to order it online to do that. And Chipotle really crushing out there in a big way. Let's jump over to our man Kevin Hincks, folks, every trading day. 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Fast Market. It's a great time of the year to check out the program. It's earnings season. We got 5 minutes to go until the opening bell coming up as we got markets in positive territory. Kevin Hincks, good morning.
Good morning, Tommy O'Brien. It's all about earnings today, Tommy, and you've got Coke higher, Johnson & Johnson higher, United Airlines higher, Chipotle that you were just talking about higher, Verizon higher. You've got Netflix down, but I think Netflix is going to be the one that you really want to watch today because I look at Netflix's news line, and it's all upgrades, all price target upgrades and things like that. I think the look to the second half of the year in Netflix is going to be real interesting. So I think that might be the one that really you watch. But, tomorrow morning we get 3 airlines. So really good news out of United Airlines to start the day. They're seeing no drop-off in bookings. So I think the airlines are on pretty solid footing here. So, earnings season, there's not a lot of data out this week, Tommy. Earnings season, we're starting to have some fun here, and it only gets better.
pretty remarkable the move those airlines had yesterday, continuing the run that they've had into today, Kevin. We were talking about United yesterday, man. You back it up. I mean, we're up almost 10% from where we were trading at yesterday, coming into the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. You trade from 43 to 47.30, but as you said, man, volatile in a normal environment, let alone what we have going on right now. Well, Kevin, man, we look forward to the program. You guys are going to have plenty to talk about, I imagine. What's going on at 11 o'clock? What's going to be the discussion on Fast Market today coming up?
Like Folio's going to do a presentation on Domino's Pizza today.
Ooh.
And then we'll start to look at the airlines. We'll start to look at Texas Instruments. We got a lot of good names to look at, but the feature stock today, actually, Domino's Pizza. They're more of a tech company than they are a pizza
I was just going to say, man, they were one of the first to really get into the technology, right? You could follow along the orders. What Chipotle just did, Kevin, I mean, the digital sales representing almost half of what they're doing. Remarkable. Well, we look forward to the show, Kevin. Have a great day, man. We'll be tuning in at 11 o'clock.
Thanks for having me on, Tommy.
Thanks, Kevin. Take care, man. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back for the open.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, and we're catching a little bit of a lift with the S&Ps up 13 points, Dow up 167, the NASDAQ 100 barely in the red by about 15 points. Let's jump over to some of the earnings stocks and see how they're opening up. Netflix catching a bid right on the open. We're barely in the red at 528 this morning. You got Coca-Cola. As Kevin mentioned, some good numbers across the board. Coca-Cola up 2% right now. Verizon holding on to the gains, up about 1.5%, pulling back a little bit on the open there. Johnson & Johnson their numbers as well, up about 0.7%. And as you mentioned, we're getting some airlines, and they're getting the lift continued. Really remarkable when you look at where we are. I mean, we are up 10% from where you were yesterday, right? Crazy moves in a big way. Kevin mentioned, so checking back into Chipotle, because it is, and now they're up 5.5%. They're the ones that they're the last one we hadn't checked in on. And just to reiterate some of the numbers we were talking about here. Now, of course, they were doing more sales digitally than they were in person during COVID. But we've come a long way from there. And they do talk about that the CEO says that they fully expect the percentage to probably go down a little bit. And this is referring to the percentage of digital sales and what they make up as a part of the company's quarterly sales. They made up 48.5% of Chipotle's quarterly sales, all of them last quarter. In the first quarter, okay, because this was the second quarter we're talking about here, okay, this is second quarter. In the first quarter, when less restaurants were open, it was the first time, getting back into the quote, in the first quarter, Chipotle's online sales overtook its in-person sales for the first time. So they've scaled back a bit now. They're at 48.5%. And as restaurants continue to open, he says, I fully expect the percentage to probably go down a little bit. And I'd agree with this. The thing I keep an eye on are the absolute dollars we're doing in the digital business. How many dollars are they doing digitally? Is that growing or is that shrinking? Because I imagine the number of in-person dollars is going to rise, which is going to bring that number down, but that won't necessarily reflect a decrease in the total value of dollars being ordered digitally. Now, I talked about the quesadilla in here, okay? Only available digitally, launched in March. 1 in 10 transactions includes a quesadilla. Now, combine the two of that. They got 1 in 10 digital transactions includes a quesadilla, and they're doing about half their business digitally. I mean, it's just innovation is driving this. Now, dining room sales are roughly 70% of 2019 levels. Okay, not sure they're going to get back there when you can order so much digitally now that you can. The company's held on to about 80% of the gains of its digital orders in there. Looking ahead to the third quarter, forecasting same-store sales growth low to mid double digits, as we talked about, a big number there in a big way. Innovation, folks, in a big way. Now, the last part about this is the driving lanes that I wanted to get into, because they have specific lanes, come on, that you can only pick up food. It's going to be right down here. Here we go. Chipotle opened 56 new locations and closed 5 restaurants during the quarter. 45 of the new restaurants have Chipotle lanes. Not familiar with them, but maybe I should be, which is what the company calls its drive-through lanes that are only for digital order pickup, okay? Restaurants with Chipotle lanes have 20% higher sales when they open compared to locations without a drive-through lane. So, I mean, check it out. They're really being innovative here. They're having specific menu items that are only available digitally. They're having drive-through lanes that you can't even pull up to and order something. You got to do it digitally. They're forcing people into that. And the stock's reacting rightfully so. I mean, look at this charge higher that we just had on the open as I'm saying it. I'm not the only one thinking this, folks. Chipotle's now up 7.7%. We just hit 1,700. You put this thing on a 3-year weekly, you were down at 400 at the lows of COVID. Remarkable, let alone if you go back to the real scare that we had in terms of the lows of dealing with their problems with health, whatever the, was it salmonella? You went from high 700s down to $270, and we're at $16.95. Now, what I'm going to relate it to real quick is Domino's Pizza. It's a perfect segue. Fast Market, they're going to be talking about Domino's Pizza. I'm going to check out their conversation. They always do a great job of breaking down the stocks, checking out the trades. Now, this is a monthly going back to 2004. Okay, but Domino's Pizza was one of the first companies to really get into the technology. As Kevin said, they're kind of a technology company at this point. They were suffering in a big way. I mean, the moves don't look as fantastic, but you know, you go back to 2017, you're up to $35. You drop to $2. This might have some split adjustments in here. Now they had Patrick Doyle was their CEO. He comes in March of 2010. Just going to point this out, okay? March of 2010. You're trading in the teens. You're trading at $13, $14, something like that. He was there till June of 2018, okay? He leaves when this thing is at about $250. So he basically trades it up 15 times the stock price when he's there, and really probably put in place the efforts that contributed at least to the run it's had since then. Transfer the company completely, right? You could track pizza tracker. You can still do it. You can track your pizza, shows you the process. I mean, we're talking 2010, 2012. They really ramped things up. But you see what can happen to a company, folks, when you do that type of stuff. Very innovative. He transformed that company, brought him back from the doldrums. And Domino's Pizza, you're talking about a company. Checking out the fundamentals under the Analyze tab, and we got all the markets green right now, folks, in a big way. An $18.4 billion company right now. Domino's Pizza down 0.2% today. And when do they have their numbers? August 17th. No, July. Oh, tomorrow. That makes sense then. Perfect. July 22nd. Yeah, Domino's is out this week. Yes. They'll have their numbers out tomorrow, so they'll be breaking that down. And we're talking about decent move, $23.67 move. Be interesting to see how they are impacted with more people maybe not ordering as much food online. They're going to be competing with Uber Eats. They're going to keep competing with DoorDash and the likes. Pulling up Uber, putting it back on a 15-minute to see the action. We're up about 1% with the market today on Uber. Let's check around to some of those other airlines because we do get airlines. Look at Delta charging higher. These airlines. Remarkable how the story just changes day to day, folks. Remember Friday and Monday, all the fear was that the Delta variant is going to stop everything. Well, the market just gets it all back. I mean, really remarkable. We're talking about an S&P now up 19 points. We're coming up to the highs that we had overnight. We're actually above anything we did yesterday in the S&Ps. And folks, you are now back to, are we quite there? We sure are. We just got back to Thursday prices last week. Thursday prices. Just forget about the fact that in the meantime, all right, so less than a week, all right, Thursday to Wednesday, but in the meantime, you traded from 43.68 down to 42.24. You traded down 144 S&P points, and in that time, we're back to where we were like it never happened. Meanwhile, we got a VIX, though. Not like it never happened completely. We are trading lower as the market creeps higher, but we got a VIX at about 1870. All right, let's check around some of the other stocks we have that are making moves this morning, folks. What are we talking about? Yeah, how about JP Morgan? Probably rightfully so, giving Jamie Dimon some special stock to try and keep that man around. One of the best banks out there for sure. JP Morgan up 1.5% today. Now, what do we got happening in notes and bonds? Yeah, we have a little bit of a higher yield persisting. There's your 10-year. Look at this drop-off. We're now down a full point and 2 ticks from where we were just yesterday's high. Woof. That is a crazy move, folks, and that is going to correlate to a yield. This is why you're seeing the banks higher, let alone 1.278, almost 1.28% a yield on that 10-year. All right, folks, stay tuned. We're going to come back talking to our man Teddy Kegstad. We'll be talking some Forex from forex-trading-unlock.com. We got markets in positive territory. S&P's at 43.33. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with Teddy.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&P is up about 17 points right now. Jumping over to the dollar index, talk about a move. We got the dollar back above 93, quite the trend that it has been in. Speaking of Forex, let's jump over to our man, Teddy Kegstad. Every Wednesday at 40 past the hour, we talk to Teddy. You can reach him every trading day at forex-trading-unlock.com. Teddy Kegstad, happy Wednesday, man.
Good morning, Tommy.
How we doing?
Doing well. It's kind of funny, you started off mentioning the dollar index, and it's grinding higher. It really is, but I wouldn't be such a dollar bull, because it's a mixed bag of goods, when it comes to most of the currencies. So you want to talk about the things that are driving the dollar index?
Let's go through it, man. I know it's a basket of currencies, like you say, and you walk us through which ones might be impacting it. Go for it. Where do you want to start?
Okay, well, I think one of the things that's really helping the dollar, here's the fun. Remember last week when we were talking, you have the dollar going up with the interest rate market going up. So, and now that's usually not the case. Usually you'll have some sort of divergence, and they've been trending together. So that right there is kind of a worrisome signal right there as far as the broad markets are concerned. But why is the dollar getting the lift, whether there's a sell-off in bonds or in notes or whether there's a rally? One of the big things is Australian dollar, which we've been talking about.
Yeah.
That currency is just, I think we're going to be talking about this currency 6 months from now and be like, wow, remember where it was last summer? Can you believe how beaten up this thing has gotten? Wow. If you look at the Australian dollar and you just use that as your front currency and you compare it to the pound, if you go AUD GBP and then AUD euro, and just because no matter what, you can flip it any way you want. But just if you just look at that as far as Australian dollar being the front currency, there's not a strong currency in this world or even a mediocre currency in this world that is not railing against the Australian dollar, meaning the Australian dollar is trending lower. Now, people don't think about the Australian dollar as a major currency, but it is. It is one of the major currencies in the world. So it may not be as strong as, say, the euro, the yen, or the pound, but it really is a big part of the dollar index, and it is a big currency. Now, with that trend being in place, okay, that supports other currencies, because since that is such a bear and it's a major currency, that's where you get this kind of like divergence. Remember how I've been saying for weeks, like the dollar index can keep trending higher. It's not because of the euro. Now the euro is been trending lower, but it's really just grinding lows. It's not selling off in any big way. The difference between the price and the euro today, right now, where it's at literally at this moment versus 2 weeks ago, isn't that extreme,
Sure.
So the dollar is getting that little lift because that trend is there, but that one's kind of running out of gas. Now I think the euro might go into a little bit of a choppy zone. I wouldn't get bullish. I would be looking to sell any rally in that one. But when you look at the pound, I think that one's kind of overdone. So your real thing that's hitting where the dollar is a bull is definitely Australian dollar. I mean, that is, I mean, it's,
yeah,
I can't
that's,
say
you know, just on my list, Teddy, I was just going to say, when I'm jumping through the currencies, and, you know, I take a look at them through the week, but I don't trade them as often. I always try and take a look at them the morning of that I'm going to be talking to you on Wednesdays. And I just go down the list, and the Australian dollar ones are just at the top of my list, alphabetically, as they put it on my list, man. So I'm always checking it out. And just this morning, I said, man, that thing is just moving to negative prices. And like I said to you, I think I referenced it last week, that just kind of the fundamental nature of what's going on over there kind of hit me by surprise. And I think it would hit a lot of people by surprise in terms of the severe lockdowns they have. You can't even fly home if you want to, if you're a citizen, just because they have a certain amount of people that they allow to, and so it's astronomical prices. So it's remarkable that, you know, it did pop up though, but yeah, it just keeps going, man. And I said, man, it's really interesting how you see how fundamentally, right, of course it matters on something so harsh like that in terms of what Australians dealing with in their country with the harshest, one of the most harshest shutdowns, at least in you know, the first world developed economic powerhouse world. I almost couldn't believe what I was reading, that people, you know, Australians over there couldn't even fly home to see their loved ones. And we're talking about citizens, folks, that live there, which is just crazy in my opinion. Yeah.
Right. So then you also have the U.S. dollar yen, which is, if you look at that one today, it's pretty much a bid. It's been all morning just inching higher and continues to lift. So I think it's coming off a nice correction. I mean, it may still have one more test of support before it bottoms, but the overall trend is a bull. And I still see that market being up at 113, 114 within the next month or two, very likely.
Okay.
You know? So that's another bull for the dollar in a big way. And then I think, like I said, euro US dollar is going to continue to grind lower. The pound, I've used caution with that one. The Swiss, I think, is going to be choppy, you know, where I think those could be where the dollar actually loses some ground, maybe here and there every once in a while, over the course of the next couple of days. So I'd be very careful with that. I don't think it's going to trend. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if the dollar index continues to creep higher, once again, it's because of the Aussie. It's because of the euro just grinding. I don't see the pound really being an influence in that. We may even see a pound rally. You know what I'm saying? Especially because if you look at the oil markets, they've had a nice $11 correction off their high. I mean, when we talked last week, they were still just below their highs of just around $73 a barrel. Okay, so 75, 76 is the high. We got down to, what was it, 64, 65. So we had an $11 correction back in, I think, was it March or April? So we have a pretty much symmetrical wave pattern, if you go there, with that kind of theory, you know. So we may have set a bottom in oil yesterday, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him back at $75 a barrel, you know. And that's where you see it's hard for the pound to sell off. You know, remember how I said the oil trade is off the table? But when you just had an $11 correction, that's why the pound was hitting support over the past week and last couple of days especially. So, but now that I think that oil trade is done, pound's going to get a little bit of a lift, you know, right now, and oil's probably going to get a bounce too. You know, so
it is crazy, that oil, man. I mean, because I'm watching, I got a 15-minute chart up here, and we're just crushing higher as we speak today. We're at 69.19. The low yesterday I have for the future is 65.01. So you're up more than $4.19, man, just from yesterday. Yeah, that's quite a little bit. It's catching for sure.
And you know what happened in the last 15 minutes right before you and I signed on with you? I was looking at the bonds. They tanked already 13 ticks in a matter of 15 minutes when they're already down on the day after having been, you know, showing this big show of strength the other day. You know, so there's a lot of. You don't see, most people don't, you know, I always reference, you know, the interest rates because it impacts commodities, but most people don't understand if they don't watch those markets. Like I just said, the market broke 13 ticks in the past 15 minutes. The average range in the bonds is 28 ticks, you know, and that's if there's action, you know. So for it to have just that happen on an intraday, you know, level of 15 minutes, that's a big move. It means big money is really swaying around here right now, you know. So interesting.
It is pretty
stuff,
cool.
And I think we hit some.
It is interesting. I was just going to say, it's so interesting because you don't see these types of moves, and we're all trying to do the mental calisthenics to figure out what's driving that action. But I was saying the same deal, man. The move on the 10-year, we're almost becoming accustomed to these moves like they're normal, and they're not normal in terms of the type of swings in yield. I said it's Wednesday morning. I think I said today this morning, I said it's not even 9-10 in the morning on Wednesday. And just this week alone, you've seen the 10-year trade up from a 133 handle to a 135 handle, and we're back now to 134.05. So a full point up, a full point down before Wednesday trading even began. Well, man, we appreciate the education. We appreciate the update as always. And we look forward to talking to you next week, Teddy.
Absolutely. You guys have a good day.
Have a great one, man. Thanks. Folks, reach Teddy every trading day, forex-trading-unlocked.com. Always enjoy the segment. We learned so much about the Forex market. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back to finish up the program.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in positive territory. S&P's out 22, and congrats to the Milwaukee Bucks out there becoming NBA champions. I'm not a huge NBA fan myself, just don't, but I am a fan of Giannis, and I'm not even going to try his last name. No, I'm not going to do it, unfortunately. But an outstanding player, and the story behind this guy, his brothers, folks, in terms of his rise to the NBA and the way that they did it with this team. And he's throwing a lot of shade out there at the quote-unquote, super teams that they put together where all the big-name players, the big three, LeBron kind of started it, and rightfully so, in my opinion, throwing some shade at those guys because he did it right. They kind of drafted this guy. He brings them in. They bring the players to him. He just doesn't go team up with a bunch of other superstars with max contracts and try and get it done. So congrats to them, and he scored 50 points in the title game. Remarkable, and happy for that guy. Seems like a good dude out there as well. All right, let's jump around and see what else we got going on. Let's take a look at some of those bank stocks as they are accelerating higher. JP Morgan up almost 2% right now. Bank of America up 1.6%. Netflix, though, sliding. Check that out, down 2.6% after their numbers last night. Looking like the market a little bit worried, more so than we thought. Coca-Cola up 2.5%. Verizon up 1%, giving back some of the gains that it had up to 56.85. We're sitting at 56.17. And Johnson & Johnson about flat, up to positive 0.2% on their numbers. Let's check around to some of the FANG stocks as we wrap it up. Amazon negative by about 0.2%. Microsoft shares right now sitting barely in the positive, and the biggest market cap of the company in the world, Apple, down about 0.7. Interesting when you look at some of the tech stocks. NASDAQ 100. Now, NVIDIA is split adjusted. That's as I was going to wait for that to wake up. So look at this. Look at the chips. Look at the chips crushing it. That's what's going on. I love the market watch, the heat map in the Thinkorswim platform, folks. They are a sponsor, but please, I'd say it anyway. I use them myself. Head on over to the front page of TFNN. Hit the Thinkorswim TD Ameritrade banner on the front page. Download the demo account. You can follow along with Fast Market as they make their trades. Pretty cool. Tech stocks carrying the whole NASDAQ 100. I mean, look at the big stocks are red right now. And we get the NASDAQ 100 positive by 17 thanks to NVIDIA, AVGO, Intel, ASML, AMAT, Lam Research. Stay tuned, folks. Basil Chapman's coming up live now. Live programming all day at TFNN. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. Basil's coming up next.